guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, custom chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster Juice, freshly made, your way.
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Mowat, Gushu, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the Curling Stadium live coverage from the Saville Grand Prix in the Saville Curling Center in Edmonton. My name's Sean Joyce, and if you were with us this afternoon, heard Terry Corbin and I discussing the possibilities tonight, you'll know that here we are entering the last game of the round robin, and there is a lot to be determined yet in the playoff scenarios. Yunji Kim, Selena Sturmay, both at 4-0, they're through. Kate Cameron, Rui Wang on the ice tonight, they're both 3-0. If they win their games, they're through to the playoffs, but neither one of them is guaranteed a berth at this point in time. Corinne Brown, Caitlin Laws at 3-1 as well, so you've got 6 teams already at 3 wins. And then just below that, you have 6 teams at 2-1 entering the final draw round robin tonight. And that includes the 2 teams that we've got here on this feature matchup, the Reese Hansen team and the Thevenot team, both coming in with a record of 2-1. If you win that game, go to 3-1, there's still not a guarantee that you're in. There could be quite the logjam at 3-1, and there's only 8 playoff berths. So even though you're playing well tonight, there could be some scoreboard watching. You might see some players looking over their shoulders. They usually know where they are in their draw to the button standings. We don't necessarily. We're underway here in what is a must-win game for these 2 teams to try to make it into the playoff round tomorrow. Reese Hansen team got us started. Put up the center guard. It is touching the center line. Here's the come-around attempt. It'll slide all the way out in the open on the other side, still in front of the T-line. So with it being exposed, the Reese Hansen team is going to make a play on it. Juliana McKenzie is the lead. Kim Bonneau is the second. The third is Megan McGilvery. Taylor Reese Hansen, the skip, in the house. Looking for some extra curl here. They want to hang around as well. She'll make the hit. And rolls over into the edge of the 8-foot. Does stick around. She's got shot rock. Thevenot team won the draw to the button prior to the game to get last rock here in the first end. And it's not just necessarily first rock. That could come into play as a tiebreaker later on to determine who gets into the playoffs. Kaylin Matterns, the lead, being asked to make the hit. Taylor Stremick on the left as we view it. Stephanie Schmidt, the third. Brushing closest to the rock, and the skip, Ashley Thevenot, in the house. Makes the hit, rolls back to at least, well, half under the guard. Now it is just behind the tee line. With it being behind the tee line, Reese Hansen is going to ask for the freeze. This is the 5th stone of the end, so a play could be made on the guard after this as well. Plenty of room coming by. They're trying to drag it as far as they can. She's got great line to that stone at the back. It does come up a little bit short. It's full 8 foot. Actually feeling like there's room to get it over the top of the yellow at the back button and hold the shooter. Looks like somebody asked how much room there was between the two of them, so she's using the handle to try to give them an idea. This is a tough shot. They are going to have to throw quiet weight to hold the shooter, so that does bring the sweepers into play. Kaylin Skinner indicating early the weight might be a little bit down from what they had called. They were on the brush early. This is one where if you knew you were going to hit it too thick, you might have been better off to just let it crash the guard. Gets too close to the nose, does jam it on her own stone. Reese Hansen now shot on the button. The Yellowstone's still available to run onto it, so Reese Hansen's going to try to guard the yellow for now. They've been sweeping this for line most of the way down. You see, as she came into the screen, Reese Hansen gesturing for them as well. It's been a long time since I played in the Saville Center, and I don't remember there being sound issue, but I have seen a lot of hand signals. Probably stayed in good enough line that it's hard to get to the yellow-red. Even if you could, you might want to be playing the double peel here. Just to get rid of these centers, overlap center guards. Thevenot does have last rock here. Looking for the double peel, might be able to bring one back into the house. Gets one guard, moves the other one off the center line. Reese Hansen feels like that gives her enough room to get that dangerous Yellowstone out of the top of the 8 foot. She could simply guard it again, but it's a dangerous stone to leave there. To curl up just a little bit yet. It's close. It's got to cross it ever so slightly. And ever so slightly is all it does. It's enough to pass it by, but did not get the roll under cover. It stays out in the open, and now there's a double available. The gesture from Thevenot suggests I think she wants to play it across the face, over the top, which is, you may lose the shooter to play it that way. It's a little riskier to play it to try to hit nose or roll under. Better result if you could make it. Stephanie Schmidt has got to come up a little bit to get the back one. It will drive it by, and the shooter does roll out of play. So now a chance for Reese Hansen to cover that shot stone on the button. last of the third stones here for the Reese Hansen team, and this late in the end, this is a good opportunity perhaps to set up a steal. Let's see as this crosses the center line. If it's got the right weight, it'll really start to curl over. It's tight for sure. Felt like they had to curl, had to sweep for curl, and it does get back close enough to the center line. There's not a port. Dangerously close to slipping into the rings there. Thevenot is going to ask Stephanie Schmidt to try a double, and to be honest, I'm not sure she cares which double she gets. If you make the double peel, you're probably in pretty good shape, but if you just miss the second guard, you're probably getting the rock in the rings. I don't think it could go between them. This is just, you couldn't miss it this way. This is not the side you needed to hit it on. It's straight peel on the guard. Hansen's first thought here is to throw one more guard. If this was her last stone, she could actually loop one around and sit two. Could do it here anyway, but if you Christmas tree it here, Ashley Thevenot might have to just pick out the shot stone just to make sure she's got a chance to score in her last one. Just looking to replace the guard that was just taken out of play. Pressure set early again indicated that this might have a lot of weight, but now they're sweeping for curl. Got to get it back close to the center line. Doesn't have to touch center. Just enough to close down the port. Wow, that's really good. Ashley Thevenot really has to make two red rocks move here. And to their credit, good that they're discussing which way you want to hit it, because there's a drastic difference between going over the top and trying to go hit the second one on the center line side. It's a drastically different shot. And if you go down to the other end thinking either or, it's far too easy to just absolutely stuff it on the second one. Then that shot stone is still buried. Reese Hansen comes around again, and you're possibly giving up a steal at two here in this end. With that broom, I have to think she's trying to hit the second one on the center line side. It would be very thin to drive it across the top. Boy, this is in danger of overcurling again. Hitting the first one on the center line side doesn't get you a lot. It peels the guard. But now I think Reese Hansen comes in. Well, they didn't really talk about this. She may be playing just the exact same shot. The problem with the exact same shot is that you come in, she's not going to have a shot to score. You play the guard again, she doesn't have a shot to score, so she's going to try some kind of run through for the blank. You don't have to give her the chance to blank. Okay, they were coming in. They just used the same ice. Now this is looking great coming in. Got to bring it just a little bit farther. Needs a little bit of overlap. That is a great shot. all Ashley Thevenot has is she's got to draw to the 8-foot to give up one. I don't think she could get to that stone on the button and move it far enough. And risky to try it. She might be giving it a go with that ice. You'd have to have back 8-foot weight. And if you were ever a little on the warm side, you could go right by everything. It would still be a steal of 2. Looks like a tighter line to me than Reese Hansen had. Now she is going after that red stone. She's going to have more line, and this is curling. This is curling. She's got to get by the one on the top of the 12-footer. It's going to be a steal of 2, and she's all over it. Pushes it into the 8-foot. Great start for the Reese Hansen team and a must-win game for both of these teams. They pick up a steal of 2 here in the opening end. Ashley Thevenot will once again have last rock in the second.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Well, a great start for the Reese Hansen team in a game that they must win to have any chance to make the playoffs. They've got the 2-0 lead with the steal. Ashley Thevenot also in a must-win situation. Will look to have a bounce-back end here in the second. She does still have the hammer. They throw up the corner guard, so we've got a center, a corner, and now the come-around attempt. Juliana McKenzie on the out turn. Brushes were down most of the way. This is getting really tight to that stone just outside the house. It's a really good job by the brushers to get that rock into the rings. Now, it is half exposed, but we're still in the free guard zone and the no-tick zone, so a little dangerous to make a play by the guard on that. Ashley Thevenot going to ask Kaylin Mattern to come around the corner guard. You might want to make sure you're deep with this as well. Got to be T-line or deeper, and I say that because if you ever had to play a double on those reds later on, it's coming over towards that corner, and you don't want to stuff, you don't want to put this where you're going to stuff that red into it, playing the double. Had great line. If she'd had about 3 feet more weight, she'd have been buried. Where it stops, though, it is almost fully exposed. You might be able to make the hit and roll back to the center line behind those two reds as well. Kim Bonneau with the attempt. Little wobble on the push out. Once it starts to curl, they pick up the brush a little harder. Makes the hit, makes the roll, and does end up mostly in behind that overlap red situation at the front. Now that was the 5th stone of the end. So Ashley can start making a play on the guard. Tough, almost impossible to get all 3 of them moving. There's probably some drag between those two if you slice it that thin. So she's just going to look to make the double on the top 2. Would still like to hit it ever so slightly on the broom side and roll off the center line. That's going to be tough. You have to make contact with stone at the top of the 12-foot, I think. Just it looks like if you miss the one at the top of the 12-foot, you're missing the one in the 8-foot as well. And this is how she got in trouble last in it. It just couldn't make 2 go away at any particular time. Gets one and does pass by everything. Holds the shooter for the second corner, which was the other thing they had in mind. It is tough for the Reese Hansen team to guard both those red stones with one, so she's looking at making a play on the corner guard. Where that yellow corner guard roll to is very tight. You could roll in, maybe nudge your own stone in front of the shot stone. Possibly sit 3 here. On the brush right away this time. She's looking to roll towards the center line. Going to be a little on the inside, makes the hit. Not going to roll over far enough to nudge your own. Reese Hansen continues to sit 2. There is a double available straight back on those 2 rocks in the rings. I don't know if you want to really be trying to roll into that red. You can't jam this one. You've got to make the double here. She's talking about trying to get the roll off the center line too, but you're not ever going to roll very far off center. Worry about making the double. Leave your rock in a good position to use it. This one's curling over her again. They got to be careful not to drive it by. That is a problem they've been having already in this game. I think that's about that might be 5 attempts now where they were trying to move 2 rocks and over curled on a shot where they might have been better off to at least make sure they make contact with the second one. Does give the Reese Hansen team a chance to guard it now. The shot stone's only in the 8-foot, but you get this guarded, it's a double guard. The corner guard kind of takes away the in-turn draw path to the edge of the 4-foot, and you'd have to go really wide to get around the red guard on the other side. So even though that's only in the 8-foot, that's, it again looks like a potential steal. There's going to be some work to do for the Thevenot team. Nothing out of the brushers. This one might be a little tight. Megan McGilvery would like some separation here. They gave it a couple of strokes at the end just to get them lined up. The lineup's pretty good. They're tighter together than I might have liked. Ashley Thevenot is going to try to make two move again. It's a question of which two do you want to play. Well, she's looking at playing the angle slash into shot rock. I don't love that. If you make it, she's coming around everything, and she's going to try to be in the 4-foot now. Right now, it's only in the 8. I think she's trying to line up the double peel on the two red guards now. That looks like tight ice again, and they have been over curling so far in this game. Stephanie Schmidt on the intern with the big weight. They call the brush on right away. Well, they overcurl once again. They do get two, but they lose their own stone that's tighter to the rings, and now there's absolutely no way to get to the 4-foot on the outturn side. There is a run back on the yellow guard, the stone that was just thrown. Reese Hansen looking at the tap up on the redstone that's just out of the 12-foot. I understand what she's thinking here. The more natural shot looks like the wide intern come around to the face of your own stone, but if you're worried that Thevenot's going to play the run back, that's not going to take that shot away, and if she makes it, you're back to probably a blank, if not giving up two. So she's trying to tap back the stone on the other side of the center line, and that run back's never going to get both of them. Does add an extra element into the shot. You need that perfect line with the weight to tap it back. You don't want to tap it back towards the stone in the 8-foot. You'll still group the stones, and this has got a curl. Plan B, you might be able to split this a little bit, get 3 into the rings and overlap those two red stones. That's not bad. That worked. It might leave a tiny port to the button if that's all she had left at the end. With the shot, Ashley Thevenot is going to want to have to play. Well, she's talking about trying it now to set up a deuce. The double's an option. You could still try running the guard in at something, although you really have to make contact with something in the rings at this point. Stephanie Schmidt wants to come down and take a look at just how close all these rocks are together. She's thinking about the draw. A third's last stone. If you're going to try to score 2, you would have to probably make an aggressive play here. You don't have a lot of room through that port. I have to admit, I wasn't paying enough attention when they were throwing the pregame practice and draw to the button. There is a possibility, it's 50-50 chance, I guess, they could have been throwing their practice on this side, in which case she may feel really good that she knows the path for draw to the button on this turn. But the old saying is, discretion is the better part of valor, so they're going to try the double. Try to make the big shot now. You might not have a shot for the last one. You make an attempt at a double here. You should still have something to shoot at least have a chance to score. You make the double, there's a chance you roll your shooter into the rings, and that red stone on the outside is partly exposed. It's got to come up. It's close. She's got one. She's got two. She does roll the shooter into the rings, although the top red stone didn't leave the 12-foot. Reese Hansen still sits 2 right now. A much better situation, though, for Ashley Thevenot. There's room to get in there. Reese Hansen will try to get in there first. She's had all the pressure on the Thevenot team so far. A chance to continue to put that pressure on. It worked for a steal of 2 in the first. She's already sitting 2 right now, and a chance to bury one. Looks to have a nice line coming in. In fact, if this is too deep, it might overcurl, but it doesn't look like that's going to be a concern. They're going to have to work just to get any of the 8-foot. They're going to have to work just to get any of the rings. It comes up short. This is the best opportunity Ashley Thevenot has had so far. Has had everything going against her so far, and if you make a come around here, there is a chance to set up the skip's deuce, and you could be right back to even. They did win the pregame draw to the button to get last rock here in the game. It hasn't helped them so far. A chance to use it here in the second, but if this was the side, they should feel like they've got a pretty good idea of the line they need, the broom they need. The question will be, and that's you see that little brief discussion in the hacks, from practice to the second end, how much might the speed have changed? Ashley Thevenot with her first. Kaylin Mattern with the broom down right away, but just cleaning. It's got room right now. It's got lots of room right now. Now, as it crosses the hog line, if she's got that good front house weight, you'll see it walk right across. This not taking that big move yet, so thinking it might be a little deep. They're trying to carve it. She's got front half of the button. That surprises me that didn't finish more than that. Usually when a rock doesn't finish on this ice, it has been a question of being a few feet heavy. The weight's not bad, but she left that probably 2/3 open. Reese Hansen's going to have a chance to remove it. She can sit 3 and at the very least get the force here. I would assume she doesn't want to play too close to the guard, so you try to roll broom side. If you roll just past where the broom is right now, you could still have a piece of the forefoot and make it a very tricky hit. She might have to try to draw to beat it. They'll just play the nose hit, stays right there. Leaves the same shot for Ashley Thevenot that she just saw Taylor Reese Hansen make. Facing three, but at least with a chance to score here in the second. Needs the nose hit. Ashley Thevenot, stone on the way. Just cleaning early. Both brushers staying close. See that stone finish nicely. She gets to the nose hit. She will pick up her single point here in the second end. Keeping this game close, Taylor Reese Hansen with a 2-1 lead over Ashley Thevenot after 2 ends of play here on the Curling Stadium Network from the Saville Grand Prix.
That's life. That's what all the people say.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos?
One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Blister juice, freshly made your way.
Taylor Reese Hansen has looked very good through the opening 2 ends of play. Now she's got the hammer. Center guard went up by the Thevenot team. Juliana McKenzie looking to come around. They've had all kinds of pressure on the Thevenot team through 2 ends without last rock. See if they can take advantage of the hammer now. Trying to put some pressure on here right away with lead stones. Gets to come around, comes to rest. Fully in the forefoot. If anything, pops out a little bit on the other side. Kaylin Maynard's going to look to come down to the face of that red stone. Pressure's still waiting on the line. It's starting to go now. Looks like she's got a good one here. Puts it right on the face of that red stone, nudges it a couple of inches. Juliana McKenzie will look to come down, sit on top of the yellow, maybe leave a little bit of separation. They talked about maybe being top 8 by 12. If you could cross it a sliver, you'd love to come right down to the corner. We're waiting on the line now. Decided they need to help it curl a little bit. And now plan B. She's asked to hold it straight. They want to go right by everything. And they just got caught a little bit in between. They're going to nudge the Yellowstone up, but the red pops open. Thevenot thinking to come down, tap the yellow stone. They want to get right to the face of the yellow stone. Tap, tap, and just move the red behind the tee line. This is the fifth stone of the end, and the last during the free guard zone, and maybe knowing that the situation in the house, not great for Reese Hansen now. They expect that the guard's going to get ripped on this next one, so you got to put a good one in here. Really got to go on the brush. This is danger of over curling. Well, not bad. It's in the pocket of those two, and it did over curl, but it didn't break up the yellow red because you didn't have the weight for the tap. So that top yellow, the top 4 foot yellow, will take care of the red. This is the 6th stone of the end. She could peel the guard. The situation in the house is not good for her right now. Yeah, I'm not in love with this call. Looking to jiggle some things around, try to protect that shot stone. Got to change the angles. Taps 1, taps 2, taps the red to the back of the button. Did what they wanted it to. Not sure it makes it a whole lot better. This end is going to get interesting. We've got taps being played all over the place, and there's already some interesting angles in the house. Apt to change on every shot. Taylor Strummer being asked to come down and tap the yellow stone at the top of the 4 foot onto a corner, freeze that stone at the back button. It's getting close. You got to get by the 2 stones at the top of the house. She's got lots of room by those. Makes the tap. A little thin on the first one. Now, where it puts it is interesting because the red-yellow, both red-yellow combinations look like they would go towards that red stone at the back of the button. But if you hit the first one, does it clip the second yellow? And if you could get to the nose of the red, it might. But if you're on the high side of that red, I think it drags and it might go by the yellow at the top 4 foot. And there's a good look at it. You can't actually get to the nose with any weight. You could still just peel the guard. It is Kim Bonneau that came down. It is her last of the second stones. She's got to throw this one. Sometimes as a thrower, you like to know what the angles look like, what you're throwing at. She's got to get close to the nose if she can here. It does look like it's lined up to clip the second yellow one. But if you hit this first one thin and you get any drag at all, it may go by that, and then it's going on to the shot rock. This might end up peeling the guard anyway. They're working it. No, not going to get by. That, I think two things. That might be the better call anyway. And to their credit, I think what they did when they put the broom down is, let's ice this tight. We have to hit it thick, and if we hit the guard, so be it. They didn't take any chance of hitting that on the high side and getting drag. This is interesting. Thevenot's just going to look to guard this situation in the middle. Again, there is certainly the back red-yellow combination will go onto the shot rock. The front one might if you use drag. And she's actually got a shot wide around the intern to get to that red stone directly. So she's just trying to keep as many rocks in the middle as she can for now, knowing that she's got a few ways to get shot rock. And Taylor Reese Hansen can't get rid of all of them with one shot. Job on the brushes to get that back to covering up the two that might be able to run the double on the yellows. Going to look to actually try to get all the yellows here. This is where this could work out in her favor. She's trying to run the yellow across the face of the red a little bit. She could actually drag it back the other way. Then for sure it's making contact with the one in the forefoot. Needs to stay just a sliver on the high side. This might be a little more than a sliver. Catches that one at the back 12, removes it from play. The guard was good on the last one. It should be good again. Stephanie Schmidt, this is one where, on the last one, they really had to work the brushes to get it to curl enough at the end. Sometimes you can over-adjust throwing the second one. This looks pretty good, though. It'll come down a little bit tighter, but with that same perfect line. Now, if she wants to take another run at that, basically the triple on the yellows, they are closer together this time. Needs to hit it just a shade thicker this time than she did on the last one. The red ones aren't going anywhere. She might be able to kill all three yellows. I don't think she wants to cross it, though. Gets it just thick enough to catch a piece of the second yellow and moves it far enough that Reese Hansen is sitting three. One more look at this. They were looking to hit just a sliver on the high side. She gets to the nose. Still gets pretty close to nose on the second one, about 3/4. Not enough to drag. And it does rub that stone to the top of the forefoot. It's always nice when you get to see just how close those ones were to the right line. And moves it just far enough to sit three. All Ashley Thevenot has now is to try to come wide on the intern and freeze to that stone. Now it is behind the tee line. So if she can make this freeze, she can turn around and put the pressure right back on Reese Hansen. But this is a must-make shot. You're already facing three. You're already down one. And you're without last rock here. They're going to have to come very tight by that stone in the top of the 8-foot. And they've got the brush on early. This will absolutely walk. She's got to get by that stone at the top of the 8. Plenty of room by the guard. It's the stone at the top of the 8. She doesn't have the weight to get there. So now Reese Hansen with a chance to come. She's signaling top button. I think you might even want to be higher than that. You're trying to take away the path for that freeze. Sit 4. And at the same time, you come in right to the button. You're probably scoring at least 2 anyway. But if you're that tight, I don't know whether the scoreboard says Ashley Thevenot could follow it down. If she follows it down, she takes away those 2 at the top of the 8 foot. She might have something thin coming off the yellow at the side 12. She's not going to have much. I guess you come right into the button area, you might leave her a chance for a triple that would at least get her out of some trouble. Boy, if you put this straight across from the red and the 8 foot on the other side, block the path to that button stone, you're sitting 4, and I don't know what Ashley Thevenot could do that you wouldn't be getting a shot for at least 3. Line looks good. This might be strong. You can't be behind the tee line here. Need it to slow down. Need it to stop. We'll get right to the face of their own. Taylor Reese Hansen sitting 4 right now. 2 of them locked on the button. The only choices I see for Ashley Thevenot, she talked about one of them already. Try to follow it down. You freeze on the face, concede 2. She's going to have a little tap on the other side to try to get 3. Or you try to make the triple, and it's not easy. I'm not positive you can see enough of that red stone to make the triple. You can certainly see enough to slash it onto the one that was just delivered, but if you don't get it into the pocket, the back one's not going anywhere. Boy, she's talking about trying to throw back 8 to move it far enough that you might only give up 1. The danger in that, if you roll off at all, it's a hit for 5. And this can't feel good to her at all, that she just threw this draw and was well short of the weight. So you've got to make a bit of an adjustment on weight here. She really needs to be firm in her mind. Are we playing the freeze here and try to hold it the 2? If we're trying to move it, they've got to be really tight by that yellow up front. You throw the weight to move it, it's not going to finish quite as hard. You cannot bounce. Still out there. Trying to carve it now. She needs this to curl. Has to get close to the face. She's got the weight to move it. I don't know that she's got the line to stay in front of it, though. Does bounce off. She got the second shot. But Taylor Reese Hansen has got to be able to see most of that rock, if not all. I think all. Yeah, there's a good look at it. Just all. Well, all in a little bit of air. And if she can get to the nose here, that'll put 5 points on the board. It would be a huge 7-1 lead. In what you have to think is a must-win game. 6 teams came into this draw already with 3 wins. Whoever wins this game is going to have 3 wins. That's 7 teams already, and there were 6 more teams sitting at 2-1 coming in, all on the ice. You lose this game, the only way you get into a tiebreaker at 2-2 is if all 6 of those teams lose. Taylor Reese Hansen, with no mistake here, comes down, makes the hit, even gets the little bonus flop to the inside. She picks a big 5 points here in the third and jumps out to a 7-1 lead. over Ashley Thevenot. Both of these teams looking to get to the playoffs tomorrow. One more look at this. Inside brusher down all the way. Once they knew they were by, they ease back a little bit. She makes the nose hit. That's a huge 5 points for Reese Hansen. She takes a commanding 7-1 lead after 3 ends of play.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Moe, Gushu, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock!
Shaw Joyce with you here live from the Saville Curling Center. It's the Saville Grand Prix on the Curling Stadium Network. Thank you for joining us from wherever you happen to be watching on the YouTube channel. If you haven't had a chance yet, be sure to tap subscribe. It allows you to take part in the chat through the games as well. And you will get notified the upcoming games. You won't miss anything from your favorite teams. This is going to simplify the game plan, certainly for both teams. Reese Hansen's going to have to play everything in the rings until she can start cleaning up guards. For the Thevenot team, they need rocks in play. The nice thing for them, still lots of game left to be played. You do need to start scoring in multiples. 2 or 3 here would be nice. You're still going to have to steal somewhere along the way. They're already at the point where, you know, that take 2 steal 1 curl or take 2 force 1 curling math doesn't work for them quite yet. Well, that was well managed on the way down. They managed to get it covering shot stone, touching the center line, but left it just outside of the ring, so they can't make the double attempt. They're going to come around the corner and looks like maybe try to leave a second corner guard tight to the rings on the same side. Actually, Thevenot in early was indicating that they might need to go for a line, but the brushers didn't want to go. This is dangerously close to being in. As long as it's buried, that would be okay. That stops. It's in a good spot. They've got pretty good separation on those 2 corner guards. They're pretty well lined up. I have to admit, I'm a little surprised to see Reese Hansen playing center guards, but I mean, the old adage is you could put the pressure on the middle. You get 2 centers and 1 buried on the button to start things off. You know that Thevenot has to deal with that. The only problem is Thevenot's not likely to play hits to deal with it anymore. She's probably going to play some kind of corner freeze, maybe a little tap. talking about ignoring it, but I think you have to address the situation in the middle first. And she's starting to walk over like she's thinking about playing it from the out-turn side. I don't think you want to do that. You play the in-turn, try to get down to the face of it, maybe nudge it out in the open. If you happen to rub a guard on the way by, you might end up in behind the corners. There is no plan B on this side. Line looks to be a little tight, but if she's got the good weight to move it, it should hold. It's close to that tight guard. She's just going to get the feather tick. Feather tick again and spins off. That has just been the kind of game that the Thevenot team has been having. That just, if there's anything that could go wrong, they find a way to do it. They just haven't been able to buy a break. And at the worst type of break, too, they didn't even take the guards out of line. Thevenot just needs to make this go away. If they really want to make the pressure, put the pressure on her, continue to put the pressure on if she could ever cross it, but they're just looking to make this go away and roll out. There was a chance there. She could have hit and rolled to the button, left all 4 Red Rocks in a line, and no way to get more than 2 of them. Plus, Ashley Thevenot doesn't really want to be playing any kind of weight here anyway. She needs rocks in play. Well, you moved the guard over a fraction of an inch on the last one, so if you throw the exact same shot, you should get by this time. Called the brush on again right away. It looks like it's got a little bit more room. They're actually looking for curl now. It's going to nudge the redstone, but the shooter bounces out in the open. Megan McGilvery now, and this time they will look to roll underneath those guards. Called for the curl early. Wants to get at least to the nose to not touch that second redstone. And will nudge it out into the open. Well, there's a bit of a break for the Thevenot team. They now have some room. If you wanted to get the play behind the corner, you could play the hit and roll now. Boy, that really moved from just outside the hog line. Not a lot of weight. Nudges the redstone to the back 12, but rolls out of play herself. So a chance for Reese Hansen to try to come around to the top of the button again and again put the pressure on the Thevenot team around those center guards. Cleaning early. Both of them staying close, so you must feel like they like the weight. They're just waiting on it to make that big move. Nice steady curl coming into the house. Didn't really walk over like we've seen with some. She does get a piece in behind cover, and she's almost full forefoot at the top. Stephanie should be able to get at it with enough weight to move it at least behind the tee line. The question will be whether or not could she ever get just across the face to leave her sheeter buried. Well, this is a long ways out there. They're sweeping for curl, trying to help it over. At least get to the nose. It's going to be close. Taps it back, does put it behind the tee line. That's a pretty good shot. Dangerous to go after the yellow one, and you'd have to roll away, so if you make it, you're going to leave a path to the freeze at the back. But if you make this yellow one go away for Taylor Reese Hansen with her first stone of this fourth end, you know that the worst this could end up being is a deuce against you, and with a 7-1 lead, you're happy to give up 2 just to get the hammer back. It's still not going to be an easy deuce. There's not a lot of scoring area left. So she's just looking to pick this yellow out. Critical that she gets it by her own at the back of the forefoot, though, and this is tight out of her hand. I don't know if they're going to have to work just to get by the guard, and if they do, can they get by their own at the back? Clips it, does lose the yellow, and the shooter will roll out of play as well. Accomplishes the main goal in that now Ashley Thevenot can do no better than 2, but it does give her a lot more room to try to do that. Needs to get this buried, and the last couple of rocks down here, we've seen there just doesn't seem to be quite as much curl on this side of the sheet. She leaves half exposed. There might be room for Taylor to pick it out, and it looks like that red stone just beside Stephanie Schmidt is biting the 12-foot. You could be looking at a force here. So got to bury this one. Room early. The brushers are staying close. I think they like the weight. They're just waiting on it to start moving. There it goes. Boy, the line looks really good. Ashley Thevenot with her first in an end where they need a deuce. Brings her stone into the top of the forefoot. All Taylor Reese Hansen can do is try to follow it down, sit in front of it, and take away some of the scoring area. Thevenot will have her chance to score 2. Is she thinking about the double run? She might be. Decides against it. Just 2 stones left to come here in this fourth end. The final stone for Reese Hansen. Trying to make the deuce very difficult. If she can freeze to the stone, Ashley Thevenot just through. A little bit on the corner. Thevenot would have to come by this one to get her second point. This is tighter line than Ashley had. Realized it wasn't going to get by, or wasn't going to get to the yellow one anyway, so played for the little rub to at least force Ashley out a bit wider. It's in a different path. She could come down to that stone at the back of the 12-foot if she had to. She would be sitting 2 then. That's the danger, though, is if you throw that little bit of extra weight thinking you got backing and then it runs straight, and we have seen that on this side of the sheet. She could go right by everything. So you have to throw as though you're throwing a straight draw, and now you just wonder, like, she's got about a foot more ice. How much different is the speed going to be down this path? Made a big draw on her first one. Needs this one to stay in this game, really. Definitely looked like she gave it some at the end. She may be expecting it to be just a little bit heavier here. Brushes are staying close. She might need that backing. Looks like she's on line for it. They're actually sweeping now just to try to make sure they stay on the red one. And it does come down, rest up against it. She will pick up her 2 points here. Ashley Thevenot closes the gap ever so slightly. Reese Hansen with a 7-3 lead after 4 ends of play. Reese Hansen will have last rock when we come back for the 5th. But the 2 teams will have a 4th end break before that happens.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Welcome to therockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, The Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Fourth end break here underway in our matchup. We'll quickly recap all of the scores. On sheet 2, Kaylee McNamee, Nancy Hansen tied 3-all as they play in the 4th. Actually, it looks like the 4th was already blank. They're into the 5th there. On sheet 3, Emma DeSheffert against Amanda Sluchinski. In a game that matters to these playoffs, Kayla Skrillik 1-0 ahead of Kate Cameron playing the 4th, and Cameron picks up the single point with the hammer. They're tied up there. Cameron comes in 3-0, Skrillik at 2-1. Grace Richards and Miura. It's 2-1 for Richards there as they play in the 5th. Some scores hiding out there. Holly Hefeli is 5-0 right now over Heather Steele. Rui Wang came in with a record of 3-0. She's got a 3-0 lead after 4 ends of play there. She's got a chance to be one of those 4-0 teams. Our feature matchup, Reese Hansen with the 7-3 lead. Eubene Park also came in with a record of 2-1, so she's got a chance to move to one of those 3 win positions at with a 7-0 lead early in that one. And actually, I'm looking at the line scores. That one has already concluded. She stole one in the 4th. She's an 8-0 winner. And with that win, that moves Park to 3-1. One of these teams is going to move to 3-1, and that means you have to have 3 wins to make the playoffs. And 3-1, there's still a possibility that could be a tiebreaker, and you might be eliminated even at 3-1. So all the teams coming into this game at 2-1 absolutely must win now. And you might even see some teams looking over their shoulders because there's some other scores out there that matter to them. Winning this game alone may not be enough to get you into the playoffs. Looks like we got some musical grippers going on. We'll see if the Thevenot team can take any kind of a boost from picking up that deuce before the break. They're still up against it. You know, there's 4 ends left to play. If you could steal one an end, you're getting into an extra end. Pretty tough to steal 5 ends in a row. But for every point you give up, if you were to get a force, it means a deuce isn't enough to get you back in it. You're going to need a 3 somewhere. Four ends left to go. If you get a force anywhere along the way, you'd need 5 points to get to a tie. That's a 3-ender and 2 steals and 1. Just so that it's not all back-to-back, it would be really nice to get that first steal here. And it looks like they're looking for the tight guard. You got to think they were hoping to play 2. You know, and they got a good center guard out of it, but it's a halfway guard, and it's really tough to throw the second guard when that's where you put the first one. Doesn't change the call here. They were always going to have to come around. Juliana McKenzie continuing to have a very good game here. Brings this stone into the top 8. Might even bite the forfeit, does. They were originally thinking 2 guards. They're still thinking 2 guards. It's really tough to throw the second one and get any separation with where that first one is. Yeah, I'd be tempted to come right in. That's what they're looking at now. If you leave the first one halfway, and yeah, I know the peel can't be played yet. We're still only at the 3rd stone at the end, but it's hard to throw a second guard without grouping them. Then you just leave the double peel easy later on. Does mean you're probably going to have to try to steal this in with just the 1 center guard, but I mean, that can be done. You've got to execute your last 7 shots really well. Looks like good line to the freeze here. Looking to come down, sit on the corner of it. Bounces off a little bit. It's not the end of the world for a team that's up 4, and you're okay with leaving hit opportunities. Thevenot's going to look to move the Reds a little bit. She's got to open up some room to get into the scoring area. This is the 5th stone of the end. You know that center guard's likely getting peeled on the next one. A lot of discussion here about what is the best way to go about this. They're looking to just try to tap, maybe move the red behind the tee line. Even if you're cold freeze at this point in time, there's still lots of time to worry about getting shot rock. You know the center guard's likely to get peeled on the next one. Well, they're going to try to move it. That ice, moving it, seems like that's plan A. And instead what they're going to do is move the guard themselves. They tightened up the ice as though they were thinking, let's move it for sure, and then really didn't throw the extra weight. That was the 5th stone of the end, so the call here should be to peel a guard. They're looking to play in the rings. She does want to break up that existing freeze, but the freeze isn't the danger rock right now. It is that guard. Looking to come down, tap the yellow onto the red. They want to stay just a little high on the yellow, and they didn't. It crosses it, so the red-yellow is still lined up onto shot rock, and the guard's still out there. This is getting very interesting for Ashley Thevenot already. She's got the chance to play the double tap. She could save it for later. Although Reese Hansen's likely going to do something in the middle to try to take it away. But you play that red-yellow tap onto the shot stone. And if you hit it right, I think your shooter stays kind of cued between those two reds. You won't be able to get the shooter out. You won't be able to see enough of either red to try to slash it in towards the one on the button. And of course, you still got the long guard. This needs to curl, though. She's got to hit that first red fairly thick. It's going to be a little thin. That drags it a little bit, but it does tap back to a corner freeze. And the yellow-red at the top stayed at a very interesting angle, because I think if you had to play it, if you were Ashley Thevenot, it would pick the shot stone out. Reese Hansen wondering about, can they get through the port, make contact with the yellow. Both the yellow and the red would fly. She does finally look at the peel. That's still the right call. Boy, I thought when she signaled the weight, they were at least going to tighten up the broom here. And they did this once earlier on in the game where you played the tight ice and made sure you're either going to make the shot you called or peel the guard. You can't miss it the other way. And in this case, she cannot hit the yellow-red combination. She's got to either hit the port or peel that guard. Hitting it like that, at least it drags by the red and the rings, but it has made things a little more favorable still for Ashley Thevenot in the house. I think you have to throw the guard at this point in time, Ashley. I agree. You're not shot rock yet, but you've got time to deal with that later. For now, you have to make things a little bit more complicated for Reese Hansen. You know, she's going to be trying to remove some stones here. You guard this, you've always got a way to make shot rock. You could play the red on the outside into the yellow to get shot rock if you had to. And Reese Hansen can't do anything with that rock over there. Doesn't need to get all the way back to the center line. In fact, she'd like to take away a good-sized piece of that stone at the top of the 8-foot. Well, that's really well done. Came up just enough to close the port. Can't get directly to shot rock. Can't get to that stone in the top 12-foot thick enough to try to run it into the 2 and the 4-foot. Reese Hansen now will finally have to try to play a peel on the guards. She'll try to look to get 2 of them. There's a lot of shrapnel out there that even if you make contact with the 2, it's going to be interesting to see how rocks come back. It's closed. Oh, and you would not have thought there was room. It certainly didn't look like it from the hack end to get that guard between the red and the yellow, but it does slide back through, doesn't make contact with anything. Nice shot here. Gets the first guard, catches the second one thin. You knew there was a chance it was coming back into the rings. You wouldn't have thought it would go through harmlessly without touching anything else. Can't guard both anymore. So you really have to guard the second shot stone. Reese Hansen will have a decision to make. Do you peel a guard again? Or do you try the double in the house? I mean, there's a little bit of risk because you're driving yellow towards your red, but if you hit it right, you could double out the 2 yellows. Just a firm clean most of the way down so far. Now they're looking to get it to curl a bit. She wants to get back to the center line. And will get just to the edge of the center line. That's probably the best she could do as far as trying to cover both. She's left the outside of the yellow in the second shot position, but if you hit it on the outside, the red's going to go, your shooter's going to roll open, and you've got room to come around. Can you see enough of the yellow for the double? I think probably you can in the house. That's what she's looking at. You probably can't see enough to hurt yourself. You'd have to hit it right, just about right on the nose to miss the second yellow and take the red. Still could peel the guard. tight iced it, I think. They were looking for the either or, and that's what they get, the peel this time. Never anything wrong with peeling a guard in these situations. Down to skip stones now. Ashley Thevenot, with second shot rock, has to try to figure out if there's a way to steal, and if she moves those rocks in the house, does she give Reese Hansen a way out? That last guard that was played was pretty well as good as you could do to try to take away both shots, and it still left a chance for the double. If the double's made, you may not have a chance to steal at all. They've called the timeout. Coach Susan O'Connor down to the other end, and I think one of the options they were talking about is play the tap back on the yellow at the top 8 foot, more or less straight back. Let her take one of them as long as she can't take both. You might have something that you can vary with. Susan wondering about freezing on the inside of the yellow, it looks like. I think if you're going to do that, you have to tap it. You have to jiggle it. You don't have to jiggle it very far. If you come down to the inside of the yellow, move it back about a rock's width, because you're going to move the red a little bit as well. Then the yellow and the red form a pocket, and your shooter's not going anywhere. Boy, I don't think you want to move it that big. I saw an indication moving try to move the yellow to the back of the 8 foot. I don't love that. I do like the idea of wiggling this, though. If you create a pocket with the yellow and the red and leave it in a spot where your shooter can't leave, and actually because the Yellowstone is on the center line, you still might be shot after you wiggle it. Taylor Reese Hansen will have to do something with it. If you sit in a good spot, I don't think there's any way she can do anything where you're not still shot rock. She's going to have to wait. She's going to have to play something so that she's got a way to get the top one out after that. This is all about not leaving room to get the double. She doesn't want to separate these yellows too far, I don't think. They were off it early, but this has made a jump. Oh, that's really good. She moved the red, moved the yellow. The yellow is shot rock. Reese Hansen's got to make a play on something, but it's going to be really hard to get the shooter out. She's looking at possibly playing the triple, so she'd have to play the stone in the 12 foot onto the 2 and the 4. This is a great result for Ashley Thevenot. Take one more look at it. The critical part isn't even that she got shot rock, but she did. That's a bonus. The critical part is Reese Hansen doesn't have... I'm not sure she's got any way to get that stone out of the top of the 4 foot. Even if she plays the yellow into it, she can get 2 yellows, but that one is going to jam and stay on the button, and you're going to have a chance to guard it and perhaps set up the steal. Boy, if you're really going to try to move that top stone out of the 4 foot area, you've got to take some risk here, because you got to hit that second stone. So you're hitting the first one close to the nose, the second one as thin as possible to go over the top of the third one. And the danger with that is if you ever miss the second one, you're onto the red one. Basically, I think you're just trying to make a double on the yellows. The top one and the back one will go. The middle one's going to stay in the button area, and that's just to force Ashley Thevenot to throw a guard where she really is not going to have a chance to steal more than one. Oh, Oh, she got a little spin off of it, but it still leaves Thevenot shot rock. I think. Give it a good try. Hit it as good as she could, close to the nose, so that she could get the second one thin and try to get it over the top of the third one. It does still look to me like the yellow is shot rock, although that may not matter. If Thevenot wants to try to score 2, you have to make a play on that red stone. It's hard to guard everything. I mean, your stone is half buried around the 12-foot red stone anyway. If you guard the red stone to take away the run back, she can get at it directly. If you guard the yellow one to take away direct, she can play the run back. So maybe you need to sit 2, and then if you're hitting that one, which way do you want to roll? I think they've decided to try to roll behind their own stone, sit 2 in the 4-foot. I like this call. I mean, you can roll the other way, make sure you're sitting 2, and she's probably going to try to draw to beat it. But if you're sitting 2 in the 4-foot, you're probably either stealing 2 or you're giving up 1. There's not likely any in between. Pressure's indicating the weight might be down a bit. You don't want to sit right there. That's not going to be a problem. They're not rolling behind the yellow. They're going to have to go just to hold the shooter. She makes the hit. Rolls to the outside and rolls a little too far. Well, now Reese Hansen can see 3/4 of that stone in the 4-foot. And she makes it go away. It's at least 2, even if she rolls out. It looks to me like it's already close for 3. And if she could ever hold her shooter, it would be for 4, and that would probably be handshakes. And then you could go sit behind the glass and scoreboard watch along with the rest of us, because it does look like 3-1 might not be even guaranteed a spot in tomorrow morning's playoffs. It could come down to draw to the button. What a tightly contested event, 24 teams. Really, the only discussion was what kind of weight she was going to play at this. Looks like they're playing it up weight a little bit, so really probably not too worried about holding the shooter. Just make this yellow go away. You know it's at least 2. It's close for 3. Boy, you hit half a rock, you're close to making the double on the yellows, which would still be for 4. Little set on the release, but this is going to come up enough to make contact. Now, will it come across for the double? She gets 1. She does come across. That's been the kind of game Taylor Reese Hansen has had. Makes an outstanding shot with her final one here. Picks up 4 more. One more look at it. She opted to throw the up weight to make sure that she didn't have to risk getting too tight to that red one. Makes it go away, and the perfect line to come into that yellow stone at the back. That gives her an 11-3 lead, and that's enough, says Ashley Thevenot. They're going to bring the Rocks back to the home end. Reese Hansen here with a really commanding game. They had a strong performance throughout. They had pressure on for the first couple of ends, picked up a steal and a force. Then that big 5-ender certainly stands out, and 4 more to wrap things up here in the 5th end. They move to 3-1. Ashley Thevenot drops to 2-2, which will not be good enough to make the playoffs. Now, for Taylor Reese Hansen, she'll have to sit back and take a look at the rest of the games going on in this final round-robin draw. All of the action available for you here on the Curling Stadium Network, the YouTube channel. A lot of games yet to be decided that will have an impact on the playoffs tomorrow morning, and we will have all of that action for you beginning at 8:30 local time. On behalf of myself, Sean Joyce, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight and all afternoon long, or all day long. And we look forward to seeing you for the playoffs on Sunday.